Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Willette, and today we're going to finish our discussion on credit. Okay, so many of you don't know, but I am a realtor here in South Carolina, and the purpose for my talking about credit is because I have had a lot of prospects and also current clients that have been inquiring about credit and how they can fix their credit or enhance their credit so that they can get a decent score and purchase a home. All right, so today we're going to talk about the items that's on your credit report and how each of those things affect your credit report. I'll also be talking about some things you can do within each section that you can use to increase your score, things that you need to check on, things maybe that you can do to increase your credit score, and also just to kind of help you understand your credit profile a little better. Okay, so the different areas of a credit report, the first one is the personal information section. Okay, that area will actually have your name, your social security number, your date of birth. A lot of them have your employer on there. Let's see what else, I can't remember. Your name, previous addresses, and also previous employers. Now what you want to do in this section is you want to make sure you only have one legal name. Make sure your name is spelled correctly. You want to make sure you have one employer. You want to check your social security number. Well, no, I'm sorry, not your social security number, your date of birth. Make sure that information is 100% accurate. In fact, a lot of the inaccuracies may just be done to because of spelling. These things can actually affect your credit report and your score. Okay, so the second section is your credit history, and in this section you're going to have all of your bills that are actually reporting to your credit report. Now understand, every bill and everything that you have on your expenses do not report to the bureaus. They're not obligated. This is something that companies choose to do. A lot of people think that there is an obligation to do it. No, it's not. We're going to go ahead and talk about this, and I'm actually looking at a live credit report as I go through this, just to make sure I can kind of cover everything for you, at least the bulk of it. Okay, so in this area, of course, it's going to be your account history. It has the type of loan. It will have your account number, the details about it, whether or not it's an installment, whether it's a revolving, whether it's a mortgage. It'll actually break down. And remember, last week we talked about the different credit mixes. This is the area where you will find those mixes. It will actually, again, tell you whether it's revolving, installment, and that kind of lets you know whether or not you have a mixed credit profile, or if you just have, just say revolving, or just installment. In this section, I'm also going to let you know whether or not your account is open, whether it's closed, whether it's in collections, or whether it is a charge-off. It's going to have all the pertinent information about each one of your accounts, the date open, your balance, the terms, whether or not it's monthly, whatever your terms of your agreement were. It's going to have a high credit, a credit limit, a past due amount if there's any, the payment status, which means if it's being paid as agreed, whether it's in collections, whether it's a charge-off, whatever the status of your loan is, whether it's a 30-day late, 60-day late, 90-day late, or whatever. It's going to have a last reporting date, which tells you the date that it actually was reported. It also has a section in there for comments. Now, if you've disputed your credit report at any given time, it will have a notation in there that your account has been disputed. It may even have some results of that investigation there. It's going to have the date of last active, which is just showing the last activity that they've had on the account. And a lot of the reports, especially the tri-merge reports, which is the 3 report, I think I have a link in here for that. If that's something that interests you guys, where you can actually pull all 3 of your credit reports. It'll actually go back. I think now they're going back about 2 years, and they'll show you for every month whether or not you paid on time, whether it was a 30-day late, 60-day late, or 90-day late. Okay, so that is the credit history portion of the credit report. And then next, there is an area for your credit inquiries. Now, this section actually talks about, or actually shows you, all of the inquiries that have been done on your credit profile. So, for instance, if you've had 2, 3, 4 people, companies pull your credit, all of that information is going to show up here. It's also going to show you the date that information was pulled and by which credit reporting agency pulled it, whether it was TransUnion, whether it's Experian, whether or not it was Equifax. It will also have the company that pulled this. Now, this, guys, is very important. You want to go through here because it does count off points. Lenders don't like to see where you had excessive amount of credit. So the goal is to try to make sure you have less than 4 to 5 in a 2-year period. If you've not given permission to have your credit report pulled by a company that's in this area, you could actually call and request that they remove that. Okay. Let's see what else I need to tell you about this section right here. That's all I can think of right now. All right. And then within that credit inquiry, there are also going to be, or maybe some ones that are, it'll be like soft pull, or some inquiries that does not affect your credit. And that is, just say for instance, if you have a current account right now, that company can go in periodically and pull your profile just to kind of see what other things are going on. They may be looking to increase your limit. Some of the times they'll decrease your limit. Sometimes have even had certain instances where they've closed out a card, especially if they're seeing maybe you're getting overextended, or if you having negative activity on some of the other accounts, sometimes they'll close your account also. So those inquiries from current companies or accounts that you have active, they do not affect your credit. Okay. So you'll also see those. And then the last one is public information. In this section, you actually see maybe if you have any liens, any bankruptcies, any evictions, anything like that, anything that you may have gone to court for, those type things will be in the public information section of your credit report. So that's kind of a big overview of the credit report, what's on it and how it affects. We talked last week about the credit mix, so now you may understand a little bit how they look at, how a lender actually looks at your credit report. You want to clean it up in the personal information section. The reason why we asked you to have one name, one correct name, one address, and one employer, because it shows stability. Okay, they don't want to see where you've moved around from place to place. It looks like you're unstable. And of course, when you're applying for a loan, they want to feel like, you know, they've got a solid candidate applying for a loan. So that's the reason behind that. Trying to think of what else I wanted to tell you guys. I can't think of anything else right now, but if you guys have any further questions on any of these items, anything in here, make sure you reach out to me. Again, also make sure all the information in your credit history is correct. What I wanted to tell you was to make sure your balances are correct. because they actually play a big part in your DTI, which is your debt to income ratio. And that is one of the big things in how lenders actually come up with a price of the home based off of your income and the debt that showed up on your credit report. So make sure you go through, check your credit report, make sure your balances are correct. If you paid them, make sure they are reducing those balances on your credit report. If it's a closed account, make sure it's showing as closed. If it's open, of course you want to make sure that it's reporting correctly, and you may or may not need to get rid of any collections or charge-offs. That's a little bit finicky and a whole nother subject. We could talk another whole hour on that topic. But your derogatories, again, which are the collections and the charge-offs, anything that's negative on your credit report, you want to possibly, hopefully it's over 2 years old. They usually look at the last 2 years here recently. But sometimes they may ask you to pay it. I really don't recommend paying it, but again, that's another topic. I should not have opened that can of worms, but however, hope you guys having an amazing day. Hope this was some valuable information. If you would, click like, subscribe, and let me know what other questions you have in reference to credit or purchasing a home. We'll be talking more about buying home, that whole process and everything. Thank you guys. Have an amazing day. All right, bye.